welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in as we kickstart the weekend. Not a moment too soon. Now, maybe you're in the process of looking for a new home, and as the saying goes, location is everything. Rooting down in a new neighborhood can be a tough decision, especially in cities with such a variety of options available.
Well, Private Property is aiming to make light work of the task with their Neighborhoods campaign, and CEO Simon Bray is here to review a blissful beachside borough.
Once again, we're talking property this morning on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Now, buying the house of your dreams that's situated in the perfect neighborhood, well, let's just be honest, it can be a very daunting task. But luckily for you, Private Property launched their brand new Neighborhoods campaign, and they're taking you through all of those perfect neighborhoods that you can expect from South Africa. And this morning, we're joined by Simon Bray, CEO of Private Property, to talk about Ballito. Is this the neighborhood for you? Simon, lovely to have you with us back in studio again.
Good to be back.
Yeah, man. Ballito, epic holiday destination for myself, especially with my, growing up at Johannesburg, mid-year breaks, July, June, July, school holidays. We're going to Ballito. But why is it a good neighborhood to consider in terms of living?
I think what you just said there is exactly the reason that we've embarked on this neighborhoods project at Private Property. This idea of showcasing what a neighborhood has to offer, because a lot of South Africans have built stereotypes around their own experiences. For me as well, growing up in Johannesburg, Ballito, Umhlanga, those areas were always holiday areas. You'd go down to the hotels, or you'd go down to the accommodation there, and you'd enjoy a couple of weeks of fun in the sun. Ballito has grown into so much more than that. So the Neighborhoods project on Private Property seeks to answer a lot of other questions around neighborhoods that people are perhaps not thinking about as actively as they would. So when you think Ballito, of course, there's the beach, there's this beautiful North Coast lifestyle, there's this feeling of great weather. I mean, you're virtually in the tropics there, so it's a great place to spend, particularly winter. There's a lot more that's started to happen. There's obviously these great estates that have opened up, and each of them offer an element of lifestyle or community that is hard to find elsewhere in KZN. And shopping centres popping up all over the place. So there's a good growth story, good development story there as well.
All right. So when, of course, looking at buying your house, you need to consider the neighbourhood, where it's situated, but also the type of people that live in this neighbourhood. Are you going to fit in nicely as well? Are you going to enjoy it? So who will we kind of find living in Ballito?
There's a great mix, actually. There's obviously the Ballito residents that have been there for years, and there's a sense of small town feel that's still there, which I think attracts some people to the area. But a great move of young Durban families north. There's the safety and security in particular that the estates up there offer, and that's drawing a lot of young Durban families out of the traditional Durban suburbs further north. And it's achievable because the access to Durban, if you work in Durban or Umhlanga, there's still easy access from Ballito. It's only a half-an-hour drive, which, in the context of Durban locals is a long way, but in the context of nationally, it's actually a short commute. So you're seeing a lot of young families, but you're also seeing an interesting trend where Joburg businessmen are choosing to base their families down in Ballito and work in Joburg. The commute's not that far, airport's just around the corner.
Are you serious? Is that even possible to do that?
It's a fascinating thing, and you're actually seeing this sort of trend pop up around the world. I saw an interesting tweet online this week. A guy that works in London was looking at London apartments, London rentals, and of course those are crazy expensive. Yeah. And he did the numbers, and it made sense to actually live in Barcelona and work in London. So he now commutes from Barcelona to London every day. And similarly, you're seeing that in South Africa. Guys are basing their families, as I said, in Ballito. There's great schools, there's great lifestyle. The kids get a different type of lifestyle to growing up in Johannesburg. And you can still work in Johannesburg quite easily. I mean, the commute is a 45-minute flight and then hop in a car. And so it's feasible to work 3-4 days in a business in Joburg and still live down on the coast.
I think that's definitely something to consider when you are buying your house, specifically, thinking about Ballito being such a nice area. Now, property-wise, what can we expect?
It's a great mix again. I think it's still a value market. There's been a lot of growth in some of the up end of the market, particularly estates like Simbiti and, of course, Zimbali. Those are upmarket estates for sure, and you're going to pay anything between 4 and 6 million rand for a nice house there. But there's still value on the other end of the market. You've got complexes and smaller estates that are offering 2-3 bedroom homes at great prices, and that's what's driving a lot of the growth in the area.
Sure, if only Ballito was closer to Cape Town as well. But let's talk about that. Neighbourhoods, that's pretty similar. If you like the Ballito lifestyle, what it offers, anywhere else in South Africa that we can find a similar kind of vibe?
It's tough to match neighbourhood with neighbourhood. We've attempted to do it on the website through a cool lifestyle filter. So it makes connections between neighbourhoods that are perhaps disconnected geographically. But Ballito's got a unique vibe. It's got that small town feel, that great coastal weather. If you had to consider its similarities with other areas of the country, certainly the growth is a similarity with some of the areas in the country. Ballito is the fastest growing municipality in South Africa right now. So, you're seeing massive infrastructure development, shopping centres, growth in the residential property market. So similar neighbourhoods would be places like Fourways in Johannesburg, Centurion just outside of Pretoria, and perhaps for that beachy feel, Mhlanga also got its own growth story.
Yeah, all right, perfect. Simon, thanks so much, man. Talking about Ballito as a neighbourhood this morning. But, I mean, deciding on the neighbourhood that you want to stay in is now as easy as 1, 2, 3. Simply log on to privateproperty.co.za and let them guide you through the right neighbourhood that's just perfect for your needs.
Whether it's your first apartment in the city, a trendy suburban townhouse, or that dream family home on a golf estate, there's a home for everyone on Private Property.